So this is the Social Media Strategy 201 workshop with Seekers Media, and we're going to level up with more management and measurement on social media with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So the 101 session, if you caught that one, was very basic, went through some benefits of each of the social networks, along with basic tips for setting up your profiles, some content ideas, and now we're going to get a bit more into that, well, way more into that with analytics, more content calendars, more strategy, and all that good stuff, including scheduling too, to save you some time. So again, I am Rebecca Bulwitt from Miss 604. I published 2 books, Blogging to Drive Business in 2010 and 2012. The 2010 book had things like MySpace in it. The 2012 book had Pinterest, which was a brand new thing. So the constant changing landscape of social media is definitely there. It's definitely constantly changing. But even just in the last few years, we've added things like Snapchat. We've taken away things like Vine. So it's always changing. Back here in 2008, I have a little bit of a newspaper article here about how it was unique that I was earning a living through blogging. So a bit of my backstory: I started my blog in 2004, and I've been running it as a business ever since 2008, doing it full time and also doing social media consulting and doing great work with Seekers Media too. Lots of fun with them. So I'll get right into it after a bit of my credentials there. I'm going to talk to you about social media specifically. So the benefits of social media. And if you caught the 101 session, I mentioned the big 3 networks: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I had this graph in there too, showing Canadian social media usage. Facebook, number 1, this is from 2016. 71% of people who are on social media are on Facebook. So hopefully your business is on Facebook too. Just the benefit of these networks and posting specific content to them to reach audiences, to reach people who are using social media. Definite benefits there. And I mentioned that in the 101 session, and I'll get even more into it in this 201 session. I mentioned the profile setup. I mentioned some content ideas and some basic scheduling tips. I'll get more into scheduling now. Customer service moments and being social on social media, which I mentioned that a lot in the 101 session too. Being social on social media doesn't necessarily mean you're talking about what you had for breakfast and back and forth with your mom all day, although I might do that on my private personal Facebook. But as a business and as a brand, you want to be posting valuable content and engaging with your readers in a beneficial way, in a genuine way, and in one that can help you with your online presence, with your sales, with your bookings, and all of that good stuff. So I mentioned this in the 101 session too. Common guideline for posting online for social media is the 70, 20, and 10 rule. When you're thinking about these networks, what you're on, where you have your profiles, what type of content you will be posting, think of the 70, 20, and 10 rule. 70% of your post should come from your brand and add value to your community. So they should be relevant business tips, recent events, local news, survey questions, things that are about you and your industry, things happening in your community. If you are based in Kelowna, Victoria, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, wherever you are, post things that are relevant to people in those communities and who you want to reach. 20% of your content can come and should come from other places. So from other readers, other followers, other businesses too, if it pertains to you. So an example I used in the last workshop was if I am a kayaking company in North Vancouver in Deep Cove, and I do know there's a great donut shop nearby. Promote the donut shop too, because maybe people, after they come for a kayak, they want to go up there. It shows you're part of a community. It shows you're supporting the businesses around you in person and also online, and people will be interested in that. Same thing if you're a hotel. Don't always just sit there and talk about your specific hotel. Talk about your city, things people can see and do, and then come back and rest their heads in your beds, in your rooms. And then 10% of what you're posting should be discount codes, sales, introductions to new product lines. So very about you, your brand, and selling and codes and getting those dollar signs popping up on the screen. So that's 10% of what you should be posting. This will help you gain and maintain valuable relationships with the online community, with your audience, and with your demographic. So 70, 20, and 10. So amping up your social media efforts, we're going to talk about being inspired by your content, with your content, posting inspiring content, ways to measure and manage with analytics, how you can produce more content without producing more stress, how you can target your audience, how you can connect with influencers. So these are people with big followings on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and how you can build your own followers, build your own engagement, and ultimately sales. So I had this slide in the first presentation as well in the 101 session. So if you're looking for basics, you can go back to that one if you haven't seen that already. But this is always a great rule of thumb. Number of hashtags on every social network. You've seen hashtags, you've probably used them, you've probably clicked them, but there is actually an optimal amount, an ideal amount you should be using on each network. On Facebook, it's 1 to 2. So Facebook has an algorithm. It will put in front of its readers what it wants to put in front of readers. That's why you'll see something today that maybe was posted by someone yesterday or 2 days ago. So Facebook, 1 to 2 hashtags per post. That's what they like. So we'll play by their rules on that network, 1 to 2 hashtags. Twitter, 1 to 2 hashtags, mostly because that's all you'll be able to fit. You have a 140 character limit, and you will probably want to put a link and a photo in there as well in what you're posting. So use 1 to 2. You'll get picked up if you want to join a conversation like Explore Canada, Travel Tuesday, Wednesday Wisdom, Throwback Thursday, and all that kind of fun stuff. Selfie Saturday, or is it Selfie Sunday? Use 1 to 2 on Twitter because it's probably all you have room for, but using hashtags that can benefit you too. You'll get in front of more people, get in front of a bigger audience when you use a tag. On Instagram, you want to use more than 10, but you cannot use more than 30. So between 11 and 30 is kind of the sweet spot. So I'd recommend on Instagram, when you're posting the caption of your photo, you use up to 10 hashtags, publish your photo. So those would be things like Explore Canada, things about your brand, your area, Very Vancouver, Capture Calgary, very specific to your location and to your subject matter, hashtag cherry blossoms, things like that, hashtag sunsets. So very specific in the caption of what you're posting, publish your post, and then be your own first commenter with the remaining 20 or so hashtags. If it won't let you publish, that means you have too many hashtags. So try taking a few off and publish again. So Pinterest, you can use 2 to 3, and Google Plus, you can use 2 to 3 as well. So just a refresher on the best number of hashtags you should use for each network. So starting with tags and theme days, I mentioned a few of these in the 101 session. Here's a more concise look at each day on social media has a theme. Now these tags can be used on Twitter and they can be used on Instagram. These are the most popular networks for these tags, for these theme days. So the reasons why you want to use these is because they're specific to a day, and these are things people tune in for. I look for Travel Tuesdays on Tuesdays. I look for Throwback Thursdays on Thursdays. Hints of nostalgia, archive photos, things that happen on this day. Users look for these things. So if Meatless Monday applies to your business, use Meatless Monday on a Monday. Use a Monday motivation, put up a quote. Put up a quote from your CEO, put up a famous quote about the great outdoors, anything like that. Travel Tuesday or Tuesday tip. If you have a really helpful tip, a DIY tip, something like that that you can share with your readers, that your followers, that pertains to your business. I shared an example in the 101 workshop session, and it was Mountain Equipment Co-op, MEC. They posted ways to repair a zipper. So super useful to anyone who's ever worn a zipper on any garment. They could post that hashtag Tuesday tip. So you want to be useful, you want to jump into these conversations. So a few more of them. Wednesday Wisdom, Wine Wednesday, if you're in that industry, or if you have if you're in the restaurant industry and you have a specific wine on special, hashtag Wine Wednesday. Throwback Thursday, Thankful Thursday, Flashback Friday, Friday night, Saturday shenanigans, Sunday fun day, and Selfie Sunday. So these are all very popular tags worldwide that trend, meaning they're the most mentioned themes, tags on those days that you want to jump in on with genuine content that fits your brand, that can also fit into one of these tags. So you can also jump into things like chats. So there are events that happen on Twitter. Destination Canada hosted a Canada chat a few weeks ago, and they asked questions on Twitter. So they did A1, A2, A3. Sorry, those are answers. Q1, Q2, Q3. That's what I was replying with the A's for answer. But they're asking questions on Twitter. So here's Q5, hands-on. Which museum do you recommend for interactive experience this year? Hashtag Canada chat. So if you wanted to jump in on this and join this conversation, it's as easy as replying with hashtag Canada Chat. You can promote your own museum to specifically answer this question, or you can provide your own answer. I jumped in on a few of them and mentioned some of my favorite attractions around the Vancouver area. So jump in, especially if you see a chat happening that has to do with your industry. And you'll notice that Destination Canada here, their last tweet of the Canada chat said, tune in on April 19th to talk about our national parks with Parks Canada. So they said there's another one coming up. So put this one in your calendar, participate again next time. So this was trending in Canada. You can see on the left-hand side, it was the most talked about thing in Canada on Twitter that day, or at that time specifically. So jumping into these conversations, anything that I posted, when I posted my answers, Explore Canada liked it. A couple people retweeted it, especially the businesses I mentioned retweeted it. So these are great ways to just jump in on a hashtag on Twitter. So you can also look up your analytics on Twitter, analytics.twitter.com, or click on the drop down from your name if you're on the Twitter web version. And you can see events that are happening. So big things that are happening around the world during certain days, and see if those are a fit for some content that you can post. So St. Patrick's Day, South by Southwest, Ultra Music Festival. You can click and see an overview for events, for sports, for movies, for recurring trends. If Olympics are coming up and maybe there's an athlete from your hometown, definitely promote that. But you can look at Twitter analytics and get an idea of what's coming up and kind of plan ahead in your content calendar for either these theme days or these global events that will be happening. So moving on for content ideas to post that can get you good audience engagement. So I have an infographic here from Wishpond. The big takeaway from this, for me specifically, is photo posts receive 84% more link clicks than text and link posts. So if you want to pull readers from Facebook to your website, from Twitter to your website, to your booking page, to a page somewhere else online where there's a call to action, make sure you include a photo in what you're posting. Make sure there is a visual. Posts with visuals, with photos, get 84% more link clicks. So definitely you want to post a photo and a visual with what you're publishing on Facebook or Twitter. So here's some to support that from Twitter. Tweets with images receive 18% more clicks than those without. Tweets with images receive 89% more favorites. And tweets with images receive 150% more retweets. People are more likely to like and share and engage with you if you're publishing something that has an image on it as well. So be very mindful of your images. And check out the Seekers Workshop series about photography too, that can really help you with this. So posts that get audience engagement. I'm going to have some examples coming up for this one. Photos for theme days. Celebrate a funny or unusual holiday. So today, while I'm recording, this is National Beer Day. National Pancake Day was a few days ago, and yesterday was National Carbonara Day. So if you were an Italian restaurant, you could have posted during National Carbonara Day. Pose an engaging question. Oh, there was also National Puppy Day too. Animals are always big. You can jump in on those, but only if it pertains to your business and your brand. So pose an engaging question on social media too, and I'll have some examples of that. Ask your fans to fill in the blank. So always asking for engagement, that does help. It does work. People do want, believe it or not, people do want to share their opinions online. So asking fans to fill in the blank works too. Post a caption this photo. Spotlight on your people, and I mentioned this in the one-on-one session too. Showcase your team members, showcase the people that make up your company. Be personal, be something, be an entity that's more than just a Twitter profile page. You are people, you're a company, and that's what makes you unique. Share relevant third-party resources. So again, the 70-20-10 rule, not always posting about yourself. And help promote local events. So for me, I do mystics04.com in Vancouver. My biggest, most popular post every week is quite simply things to do in Vancouver this weekend. That is my #1 post. No matter what else I try to promote, it always gets thousands more views than anything else. So promoting local events is huge, because why are people coming to your area, or why are they getting out and about? Probably an event, and while they're there, they can engage with you and your business. So Going back to that menu, first item was celebrate a funny or unusual holiday. So National Pancake Day. So American Pistachios posted this, hashtag National Pancake Day. Try this with a healthy twist. Pistachios and pancakes, perfect fit for their brand and their business. They could use this hashtag and post something engaging. A call to action, get the recipe with a link, and then a photo. Photos will lead to the click of the call to action. So great example for National Pancake Day. Pose an engaging question. So these really aren't tough questions. I say an engaging question, but my first example is ocean or pool, which is people love sharing their opinions on that. If you're going on a vacation, do you spend time hanging out at the pool, or do you want to go through the waves and crash through the ocean and have the sand between your toes? So ask questions like that. People love providing their opinions. Here's another example of asking questions. This is Walmart, and they say, like it if you prefer pumpkin pie, or share the post if you prefer apple pie. So this really gets you some engagements. It's kind of a bit of a forced engagement, but it still gets you engagements. You're asking a question, people want to share their opinion, and they're specifically liking or sharing based on what you posted. You can also use the Facebook poll feature. There is a poll feature in Twitter as well, and you can set a time limit on it. So say for the next 3 hours, let us know your preference of this or that, or what do you think about this or that? Or even this, who would win in a fight, a taco or a grilled cheese sandwich? Not the most rocket scientist worthy question. Very, very simple question to answer, but people love sharing their opinions. They love clicking and being engaging in this way. If this fits your business, if you serve tacos or you serve grilled cheese or you serve poutine and you're asking pulled pork or just regular style, just people love sharing their opinions. And then especially if you take this information and use it as market research and apply that to your business too, that really shows the value of going from online to offline and having that circle of engagement. Question here from Fitbit. We want to hear from you. Just announced the new Fitbit Zip, which comes in 5 new colors. Which color do you like best? Very, very, very simple question. What is your favorite color, essentially? Or what color would you want to see on a Fitbit? But you get a lot of engagements. People want to share their opinion, especially when it comes to a product that they might use. So asking questions is always a good way to get audience engagement on social media. The fill in the blank. So Target posted fill in the blank. My patio season must have is blank. And especially if you can post a link under it, Target in one of their sales posts, find it for less at our patio sale, link. So you're asking a question and then you're also adding a link. So, oh, I like the answer beer here too. Patio season must have is beer. Or if I could go anywhere right now, I would go to blank. Give people an opportunity to share their bucket list, share their wish list, and just make it an open forum. Make your social media that platform, or your network, your profile, that hub where people are going to start engaging. Post a caption in this photo. This is where you can just have some fun. If it can pertain to your brand, even better. If it's silly, I wouldn't do too many of these. Maybe schedule them in your content calendar every now and then just to boost some engagement. But yeah, caption this photo, especially if you really want some feedback, and maybe if you will use the photo in the future. Or they can be silly photos like these two. So a cat on a skateboard or a stormtrooper on the subway. So sharing relevant third-party content, so something that's not coming from you, is coming from someone else, but it's still relevant to you and your brand. Canada Keep Exploring, so Destination Canada, shared this, and it's from, it's in Edmonton, focusing on Edmonton tourism at the ice castles, which I've seen so many photos of this winter. It looks amazing. So not necessarily a photo they have taken or their team has taken, but it pertains to the Edmonton ice castles. So Edmonton tourism gets some love here. They've shared something from someone else, but it's still getting engagement. And that's something you can do too. If you're in Edmonton, show me your ice castle photos. I would love to see them. Do @Miss604, hashtag YEG ice castles. Third-party content, so this is fun too. So this is from Calgary, and if you're in Calgary, maybe you saw this on Global Morning. One of the co-anchors, or one of the hosts there, shared artichoke dip that was really bad with the rest of her co-hosts, and it went viral. So people started sharing this. It was a horrible moment on television with them eating horrible food prepared by a colleague, and it went viral. So If you were a restaurant that has an amazing artichoke dip, maybe you want to share this because this is third-party content. It's not coming from you, but hey, you could use this and share this and turn it around and be like, hey, our restaurant has the best artichoke dip around, and invite Leslie Horton there to give it a try. So using fun information like that and turning it into a marketing moment for your company in an entertaining way. And that could be really fun too. Help promote local events. So I kind of alluded to this already. Calgary, you like bikes? Calgary Bike Show, March 18 and 19. So this was posted by Tour de Victoria. So it was Victoria posting about something in Calgary just because it had to do with bikes and they're into bikes and that's what their audience will be interested in. So they're just adding value to their audience. City of Poco, let's go skating, family fun skate. So posting useful information, and they tagged on this, they tagged me at Miss604, they tagged Tri-City News. So if you have something coming up too, you can put it on other people's radar by tagging them on Twitter, and they can share it. For me, I added this to my things to do in Vancouver this weekend post. So you can also tag people, but events are huge because they're timely, they're now, they're fun things people want to do. And if you can promote them, if they're your own or if they're in your community, then that's great. So in the first session, I also talked about what you want to get picked up might not always get picked up. So I had an example of the Dragon Boat Society, and they had a post about volunteers, which didn't get as much engagement as a post about a sea otter that they took a photo of by their boat. And it's okay, you want to post all that content. And then I saw this. You want to post that content anyway, because while people are there at your profile looking at the sea otter, they'll also follow, hopefully, and see the valuable content that you've also added, in this case, about the volunteerism. So that was the example I gave in the first workshop. So this one I found on the Beaverton, which is a satire site. Picture of chicken and waffles gets more likes than all of women's life accomplishments combined. And some days I feel like this. Some days I will research a post. Of course, this is tongue in cheek, but sometimes I'll research a post for 3 days. I'll write a big blog post because that's my main platform is my blog, and social media complements it through link clicks. But I'll research something for hours. I'll get photos, I'll go to the archives, and I'll publish it. And it's something that I want to do for me. I love publishing this type of content, and it will get pretty good pickup. But then I'll post right after it, maybe I'll post the cherry blossom photo of the day, and then the cherry blossom photo of the day gets thousands of engagements right away. So the post I spent so much time on didn't get enough engagement as the cherry blossom post, but that was fun, engaging, easy to do. And while people are reading that post and liking that, maybe I'm getting new followers because of that post too. People will also then tune in for the history post I wrote, and then I can get more. The history post is evergreen. I can publish it and I have lots of time to get more legs out of it. But I published that post because it's important to me and my business, and it differentiates me from other blogs out there. But the cherry blossom post, I will still always do that too, because it gets maybe new eyeballs to my site. It gets more engagements on social media. So you want to have both kinds of content. So don't get discouraged if the picture of chicken and waffles gets more likes than all of your life accomplishments combined. But if you can post chicken and waffles, go ahead. Now measure your audience engagement. So I gave you a few more ideas about content and types of content to post. And from the last time, I invited you to schedule some posts on some theme days. In particular, Travel Tuesday was the big one that I mentioned. So we're going to revisit. I had this in the 101 session, find your whale in a sea of data. So going to your Facebook page, going to insights, looking at posts, and seeing the times of day where you are getting the most engagement. Those are when you want to be posting the most. So on this example here, same as the one in the 101 workshop too, I probably don't want to post at 7 a.m. I won't get as much engagement as I would if I posted at noon. But here, there's such a plateau throughout the day. Those are kind of the peak, that's the peak window I want to post. So maybe I want to start scheduling Facebook and Twitter around 9 a.m. I want to keep posting throughout the day. Maybe around 3 p.m. I'll schedule some more, and I'll schedule some more for prime time, as they call it in television, between 8, 9, and 10, and definitely not after 11 or midnight, because according to this graph, my Facebook fans are asleep. So I'm not going to post during that time. So looking at your analytics and getting this information is really valuable because it can show you when you can schedule, so you don't need to stress about posting during times where nobody's even looking anyway. So On your analytics too, you can see specific days and the certain amount of engagements you had per day, likes per day, and you can find peaks and valleys and certain events. So why was there a peak around 9 p.m. on this specific day? What did I post? Look at that content and publish that type of content again. Obviously, that's hot content people are liking and they're engaging with. So rinse and repeat and schedule that again for tomorrow at the same time, or maybe the same day next week at the same time. Rinse and repeat. So look at these analytics that are right there for free, included in your Facebook business page, and start looking for the peaks and valleys and replicating the content that got picked up. You can also look at things like people reached versus your fans. So if you're targeting certain fans, but you're reaching a certain other demographic with your posts, maybe you want to start targeting that other demographic. If it's what you want to reach, if that's who you want to focus on, who you want to target, look at this information too. See who you were targeting, who actually read it, and they're actually your fans. So you reached this, for this example, you reached 51% women, but your fans are 50%, 56% male. So what kind of content was that? Do you want to target it differently going forward? You can also see what content works best. So this is your Facebook business page, and then going to publishing tools. So this is the panel that shows you everything you've published, and then it shows you how successful everything was that you've published. So it will show you your reach, organic, and also paid if you've put a boost behind it. So this top post on this specific example here was, here are 101 tips, tools, apps, and resources to help you increase revenue with Facebook. And you can see the organic reach was very small, but the big dark orange block is a paid reach. So you can see they had a lot of success with the paid reach on this post, although it did have quite a good organic reach too. So based on this is the type of content you want. This account holder will probably want to publish again. They'll probably want to do another 101 tips post, or maybe talk more about Facebook in another post. So looking at the posts that you have published, review them and see what got engagement, what were people really responding to, and then schedule that in next week. Put it in your content calendar that you should have another post like that. You can also check in on the competition in Facebook Insights. Just start tracking 5 pages that are a competitor that you deem as competitors, and then see what they're posting. If they suddenly got, so here, if I'm related to Netflix in some way on this example, what did Brain Pickings post this week where they got 187.1K engagements? So you may have more followers, but they got way more engagements. What were they posting? And you can go look and see the type of content that they were posting. And if you have similar audiences, don't copy their content, but do the same type of deal. If it was a how-to or a 101 or a look at our employees and our team, or if it was a photo of a sunset, even go get your own sunset photo and post that. So look at the type of content they're posting, what's getting picked up by their audience, and if it's similar to yours, do that type of content as well. So which content works best? You can also look at analytics.twitter.com and look at what was your top tweet for a month. This is, as soon as you go to analytics.twitter.com and you're logged in, on your main page, it will have a summary for each month. So this is my November 2016, my summary. So you can see what your top tweet was. Mine in November 2016 was a quote, there can be more than one successful girl. That's what sisterhood is all about. And that's from Superwoman on Twitter. She was speaking at We Day in Vancouver. So I got good engagements on that, 185 likes, 40 retweets. So inspiring, empowering posts like that, maybe I want to do more of those because I got really good engagement. But also it was about We Day, which is an event that happens once a year. So perhaps I want to apply for media accreditation for We Day next year too. My top mention was a contest. So retweet to enter to win a 4-pack of tickets to Enchant Christmas, which was Canada's largest light maze, BC's largest light maze, maybe the world's largest light maze. It was around Christmas time. It was a new event. So that was my top mention. Top media tweet was a visit to Banff. I posted a photo there. So I did hashtag share the chair, which is Parks Canada's tag, and hashtag my Banff, which is Banff's tag. So you can look immediately as soon as you log in, analytics.twitter.com, and see these posts. It will tell you every month, top tweet, top mention, top media tweet. Maybe you want to repeat this. So for me, maybe I want to go to more national parks. Maybe I want to post more with outdoorsy photos. Maybe that might my audience responds to that. For mentions, maybe I want to do more contests. I do a lot of contests already, but look at your what you've been posting, if it's working, what is working, do more of that. I mentioned this in the 101 session too. You can definitely measure hashtags and how far they went. So example here, Ski Big 3. You can just do it for general campaigns for like something like Ski Big 3 or Explore Canada, but you can also do it if you're hosting an event and you want to see how much reach that event got on that specific day. You can go to tweetreach.com or keyhole.co. There are free functions, so you can get a free report that is within 24, 48 hours of a live event, or you can pay for a membership and up your program, your up your package with the system that way. But a lot of these things, they start off free and then you can pay a bit more. Hootsuite starts off free and then you can pay for additional features too. So yeah, that's what's great about social media. You can definitely amp up if you want to invest in it. Tracking your links and shortening your links. So benefits of link shorteners, Bitly, Owly. Owly is the one that's built into Hootsuite if you're using that for a social media dashboard. Bitly, I like to use that too. It's a separate service. It will take a really long link that potentially won't fit on Twitter because you only have 140 characters, or won't fit in an email and might break. And it not only shortens the link for you, but it also tracks it. So it lets you know how many people clicked it, what the referrers were, and you can get some really robust analytics. So if you have a link, if you have a say a press release or a product launch or a sales page that you want to share, shorten it using a link shortener where you can get analytics, especially if you're sending it out. So if it's out in a press release or if you're sending it to influencers. I offer this with some of the partners that I work with. I say, oh, I'll track the link on the contest we're running, and I can tell them how many people clicked the link and get some good analytics that way. So this is a big point I want to drive home about social media. I don't want to stress you out, but more posts equal more chances to be viewed. So you want to post a lot. Content calendars help, and scheduling services help. So dashboards like Hootsuite and content calendars. I use Google Calendar. You can even use an Excel spreadsheet if you like, but there's some really cool calendars you can get from Hootsuite as well. blog.hootsuite.com, social media templates, content calendars, Google some of those too. So posting 1 or 2 times per day produces 40% higher user engagement. The more you post, the more chances you have to be viewed. If you walk into a room once that's full of people, they may not see you. If you are there for longer and spending more time there and shaking more hands, you will get noticed more. You want to definitely post more, 1 to 2 posts a day, at least. Frequency is important too. So which is what I just mentioned. Frequency is important. So lots of posts, but also repeating content and posting multiple times per day, obviously. I'm going to talk about repeat. This is what's tripping me up. I'm going to talk about repeating the same tweet. And so I'll talk about that in a moment, but I'll just finish off what I'm saying here about frequency and number of tweets too. So frequency is important. A quick graph from Skift, and they have some DMOs here. So visit Seattle, visit Melbourne, travel out Oklahoma, visit Baltimore, tourism Calgary. So they have their own ranking system here, and they show you how many thousands of followers. Actually, tourism Calgary at the time when they did this did 35.8 tweets per day over 14 days. Visit Seattle 14.5, and you can see that tourism Calgary has more followers. So nice little thing to look at. And I mentioned this as well, the different times of day that you want to post. And I mentioned this about Facebook, but definitely with Twitter. Twitter is chronological order. So the person who is online looking at their phone or on twitter.com at 7 a.m. is probably not also the same person who's looking at 7 p.m. or 12 noon. So you want to catch all 3 of those people. If you catch the same person, then that's fine. It's fluid, but you want to catch all those different times. So you definitely want to post multiple times. So here's how a sharing schedule will double your traffic. So first message, same day. So if I'm posting one message specifically, and I have an example coming up about this, I'm posting one message, and I share it on Twitter and Facebook, and then this example is Google Plus too. It could get 5 clicks. The second message the next day, the exact same tweet, maybe just tweaked a little bit, could get 4 and 8 and 3 clicks, and the third mention could get 2 and 5 and 2. So I have 11 clicks instead of those original 5. If I post it once, I would have only have 5. So this is the Twitter example here. If I posted it once, I could have only had 10 clicks, but now I've had 23. So the more you post, it sounds kind of like a no-brainer, but people are scared to post multiple times on social media often. And let me tell you this, I have well over 80,000 followers on Twitter, and I've been on Twitter for over 10 years. I never once have had someone say, and I'm knocking on wood, never once have I had someone say, you said that already, or you're too repetitive, because I'm reaching different people because I'm posting the post at different times of day. So it's not, you're not going to be annoying as long as you have different content spaced out between those repeated tweets and those repeated posts on Facebook. I would repeat more often on Twitter than I would on Facebook, because Facebook's the algorithm, so it will put in front of users what it wants to, but Twitter is fluid and chronological. So I definitely do the repetitive tweets more on Twitter. So here's an example from Visit Lethbridge. They posted the exact same content promoting the exact same event 3 times. So they promoted it on February 9th, March 7th, and March 9th. All of these posts promote the Home and Garden Show. So the first one, Experience the Home and Garden Show. The second one, the 41st annual Home and Garden Show, is just around the corner. And the third one was Don't Miss the Home and Garden Show. This is a perfect example of how you can post the same content multiple times, multiple days, change up the messaging just a little bit, but you're making sure you're catching the different viewers at the different times they're watching. So good example here. Good job, Visit Lethbridge. So at the beginning of the summer, another example of I post something multiple times. At the beginning of the summer, I post one blog post about the summer series of free outdoor movies in Vancouver, in Stanley Park specifically. So I publish the post in June, and then every weekend I promote the post. Every weekend I say what's coming up. I say this weekend it's Goonies, or next weekend it's Star Wars, or next weekend it's Indiana Jones. I promote the same blog post every weekend all summer. And I just change it up a little bit with the pertinent information for that weekend. And here's traffic stats from my site. This is from Google Analytics. You can tell there's a peak. Every weekend there is a peak on this post whenever I publish it. So something that I published in June is still relevant in August. So June 29 to August 24, I got good traffic, good traction out of one single post because I repeated it on social media. So here's another example. This is my favorite one. There's a tulip festival in the Fraser Valley in BC, and I heavily promoted this. It was the first year, 2016 was the first year of the Abbotsford Tulip Festival, and I went out there on a fam tour, a media tour. I got to take photos, walk around. I published a blog post about it, and I heavily promoted it. So this is from February, and then I kept adding more photos when I went out there. Obviously, the tulips were quite ready in February. But I heavily promoted this tulip festival every single day, maybe 1 to 2 tweets. I posted it on Facebook. You can see here with the shares, 910 shares on Facebook of this specific post. So I heavily promoted this tulip festival post. So after about 2 weeks or so, I eased up a bit. You know, I wanted people to go see this and go check it out. So after about 2 weeks, I posted on Twitter, oh, there's a tulip festival across the border in Washington State in Skagit Valley. So I posted on Twitter, there's a Skagit Valley Tulip Festival opening this weekend. And I got a reply immediately from someone who said, don't you know there's one in Abbotsford? Sigh. Of course I do. I heavily promoted Abbotsford, but that reader on that day during that time frame was not tuned in all of the other times I was promoting my Abbotsford Festival post. So because you're going to have those readers who aren't always tuned in, aren't always looking at certain times, you want to promote. You want to heavily promote your content and get in front of as many people as you can. So that's the example I love to use about the Tulip Festival. Don't you know there's one in Abbotsford? Yes, I do. Thank you for your concern. So why schedule and plan your content? So I've given you many reasons to think about this already. Stress, so you're not sitting there on 2 p.m. on a Tuesday and thinking, oh, I haven't posted on Twitter yet. Oh, I haven't posted on Instagram yet. What am I going to do? This is so that last Tuesday, last Monday, you've already had your plan in place. You know what's coming up next week. You've scheduled it already. You know you want to do 3 posts on Twitter. You want to do 2 posts on Facebook. You want to do an Instagram photo. And your theme, you're going to go with the Travel Tuesday theme for all of your posts that day. So you can do all of this in one sitting for each week. So Monday at 9 a.m., you can have your whole week planned out. You could have your month planned out if you looked at some theme days that are coming up. So your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, your website, any kind of other online publishing that you're going to be doing, you can sit down and do this with your content calendar. So here's what I mentioned before, Hootsuite content calendar templates. You can download them, blog.hootsuite.com/social media templates. I use a Google Calendar. You can use Excel. You can use one of these definitely. And think about your content before you're publishing it. Curate the content online so that when you have this content and you can schedule it and pop it in at the peak times when you want to get the most eyeballs, you then have time to go and collect the content or do what else your job requires, or to even respond and be social on social media. So if you have a lot of people talking to you, you can sit down and start replying to tweets and be like, on this day between this time and this time is when I take the time to reply to people on social media. But you already have content going out, so you don't need to worry about that side of things. So specific targeted audiences and how to invest in boosts on Facebook. So promoting your content. So I've mentioned lots of free options that you can use already on social media. Here are some paid options. So you've published something, now you want to boost it. You want to specifically target an audience so that you can make sure you get your content in front of eyeballs. Most people should be using the promoted post option because it allows more control over who sees your ad and how you pay for it. So using promoted posts on Facebook too. The great resource here is Social Media Examiner. I've had a few quotes and insights from them already in this presentation. So what you can do with a promoted post on Facebook, you can target by gender, relationship status, educational status, interested in, age, location, language. You can target single people, you can target married people, you can target those with children, those without, those who like Bryan Adams or Michael Bublé, or those who like jazz or rap or reggae or any kind of music. You can target pretty much anything. People who like hamburgers, people who like hockey. You can specifically tell Facebook, put my content in front of people who like these things. So it's really, really powerful. If you can even put $5 in front of a post to boost it in that way, I would recommend a little more than that, but you can start with 5, whatever your budget allows, and go from there and see what kind of responses you get and see if you're getting the right reach, and look at your analytics after and really see if it's working. So successful Facebook ads are visual, relevant, have an enticing offer, and have a clear call to action. You don't just want to put a photo out there. You want to make sure that people are following through and doing something based on your ad, obviously, which is why you're advertising. So NatureBox wants you to try a free sample. Try a free sample of 5 of their tastiest snacks. So click and try the free trial. Here's an ad for Hootsuite. Again, try it for free. Try a free trial. So little ads getting in front of new eyeballs, and click for a call to action. And what these two have in common is there's a photo. I'll go back to that. There's a photo with the call to action and a link. So this is from Ad Espresso. Ads showing a person perform nearly 2 times better than the mascot for this specific ad. So this is an example from Espresso. So think about the visuals you are using. So in this case, the ad needed for inspiration for, it was a Facebook ad about ads, getting very meta here, but if you need inspiration for your Facebook ads, download this unique collection of 500 plus real world ads by advertisers and get around and get inspired. Get it now. So get it now. There's a link, click Facebook ads, and there's a person in the photo. Next ad, very similar, but it's got a mascot, and the one with the person got 2 times that performs 2 times better. So be very conscious of the visuals you're using. So if you put $5 behind the mascot one, or maybe a photo of something, and then put $5 around an ad for a Facebook post that has a person in it, look at those analytics and see what works better for you, and repeat that the next time you're going to do an ad. Also, make sure if you are advertising that there's continuity there, that after clicking a link, the user should see something that reinforced what they just saw. So if I'm clicking on this little shoe, I expect I'm going to see more little shoes. Sometimes it does happen. You click on one thing and you don't get something related to that. Or like, okay, well, I clicked on it because I could get 55% off this shoe, but now I'm looking at bathing suits. So definitely make sure everything's tied in and consistent with branding. So creating custom audiences and running report at the end. So more kind of reports and analytics and statistics. You can see the campaigns that you've run, name them. So name them based on the targeting that you've used, and repeat that if you had good success with it, or tweak it a little bit and name it something else, and you can repeat that again with another ad set. See your reach, you see your impressions, and just really spend some time looking at your data. So put aside some time once a week to do your content calendar for publishing on social media, but then also make sure you set aside some time to do your reviews, to do your analytics, to really look at what's been working and what hasn't, and then use that information then to create and to tweak your content calendar for next time. So going back to this slide, which content works best? You can see again which the organic, the paid, what type of content. So going back to this, here are 101 tips. So maybe you want to do more 101 tips and put a boost behind that, because that's where this user specifically is getting the most engagement. So influencer partnerships. I mentioned this a little bit. So here's Photo J Bartlett, Jeff Bartlett, photographer, part of the Seekers Media team as well. And he did a post here with Travel Alberta. So Travel Alberta partnered with him to do this photo, to do this experience. Just one example of ways that you can collaborate with influencers. So influencers are people who are able to, who have influence based on high social media followings and engagements on their social networks. So that could be someone, a YouTuber, someone who has 1 million subscribers on YouTube. It could be someone who has 10,000 followers on Twitter. It could be someone who has 50,000 followers on Instagram. So depending on where you want to grow your audience or where you find a mutually beneficial stream, you want to partner with an influencer using that certain network. So you can do collaborative posts and content, new product launches or unboxings. Those are really big. Unboxing, you've probably seen them on YouTube, but basically all it is someone getting a product. Either they've purchased it or it's been sent to them, and they video literally unboxing, peeling away the cardboard and the wrapping paper and the tissue paper or the packing material and showing what's inside. That's an unboxing video. Those are really popular. So you could partner with someone to do one for you. Also, unrooming videos. I did one of these last summer. I partnered with Kimpton Hotels. I went to LA and I did a review of one of the Kimpton hotels, but when I walked into my room, I did an unrooming, which is you show a hand on the doorknob in a video, opening the door and entering the room for the first time, and a video of the first impressions of a hotel room. So you can partner with an influencer on that too, if they've done them before. So you want to partner with someone who's done these things and knows how to do them, because they'll know how to do the best content for their audience. So you can also offer discount codes and affiliate codes for influencers. You can have a long-term ambassador network, have someone you go back to, have 5 people you go back to all the time, every season for something. You can do straight up advertising, contests and giveaways. So I give away lots of things like theater tickets, products, experiences, travel opportunities, hotel stays. I do all of these things through my social media, where I partner with great partners who are offering these things up. You can also have attendance at an event. You can pay an influencer to attend and live tweet or Instagram live your event, and also do challenges. So remember the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, but you can do, whether it's for charity or whether it's not, have the influencer participate in that and encourage their audience to participate as well. So here in this example, I have Banff, Tourism Banff, getting some food bloggers out. So food bloggers of Canada get a taste of Banff. So based on the food bloggers that they had out and the content that the food bloggers produced, Tourism Banff put together a roundup. So you have 5 different people, 5 different audiences, 5 different demographics, 5 different regions or parts of the world where they're from. And they've all created really cool content in different ways that all speak to their audience. And then you can take that from my example here, from those 5 people and do a roundup and be like, look at what these people created on what we put in front of them. So it's really powerful because you're not only reaching your audience with the cool content they've created, you're reaching all 5 of those people and all of their networks and all of their audiences, and they're sharing it with them. So it's very powerful to engage with the influencers and bloggers this way. Some examples for me, Harbor Air is a seaplane company operated out of Vancouver. A few years ago, they took up a bunch of bloggers and social media influencers. They said they invited people who had big followings, whether it was visual, so Instagram, or whether it was blogging or Twitter. And they took us all up in a plane, flew us around. We got amazing photos, and the bloggers wrote about it. The Instagrammers Instagrammed about it. The YouTubers YouTubed about it. And all they had to do was pack us all on a plane and fly us around a little bit. And we've created all this wonderful content that they were able to share as well. I get everything delivered to my house from beer. I've got an example of a tweet. Sometimes I get beer delivered. Craft Dinner, they sent me a very complimentary box of macaroni and cheese. And I've never mentioned Craft Dinner on my social networks, but they got a tweet out of me for this one, because flattery will get you everywhere with an influencer too. Another one is behind the scenes. If you can offer a group of people who have social presences a behind the scenes tour, that's really powerful too. An example I have here in my slide is from the Celebration of Light fireworks, world's largest offshore fireworks competition, which is in Vancouver every summer. They have a barge where all the fireworks are blown off of, and they invite media a few days before performance day. They invite us to the barge, so I would have never known what a fireworks barge looks like, but this is really cool. Got to do a whole post about behind the scenes at a fireworks. And my final example here is hashtag #VanScienceSocial. So a few partners, TELUS World of Science, Science World, the Triumph Superconductor Lab, and a few other Michael Smith Laboratories at UBC, they all and the Space Center, packed a trolley bus full of 30 influencers. So again, different demographics. There was parent bloggers, there was Instagrammers, there was YouTubers, there's people doing Snapchat the whole time. They packed us all in a bus, took us to all these different really cool science-related venues in Vancouver. Within the first hour, I would say hashtag #VanScienceSocial, which they encouraged us to use, it was trending in Canada. So it was the one of the most talked about terms in Canada that day, because they had us all doing these really cool, fun adventures, including extracting our own DNA through a little vial of spit that you can see someone holding up here, which is kind of gross, but it was really cool at the time. So #VanScienceSocial, the more unique the experience, the more behind the scenes, the more exclusive. That's really cool. Influencers love that too, but it doesn't always have to be so big and grandiose. You can have some basic partnerships with influencers as well. Also, influencers have been able to grow their audience and get big audiences because they know their brand and they're really good at what they do, and they're good at curating content. So here's an example of a shoe Instagrammer. So she talks about fashion and shoes, and she partnered with a hotel in Marrakesh. She partnered with a hotel, but was still able to tell her shoe story, because look at this beautiful photo of the tile, which she talks about. This beautiful photo, beautiful hotel, and she's showcasing her shoes because that's her brand. So obviously the hotel wanted her because of her audience, but knew she would promote her brand, which is shoe Instagramming. And so they had a really unique partnership there. So giving the influencer more creative freedom can help a piece go viral, and it can help because their voice is unique to them and their audience. And understanding an influencer's audience and demographic first can help a brand pinpoint their target market too. So you're definitely being conscious of who you're partnering with and when. So partnering with smaller targeted influencers can drive just as much traffic or more results than top tier influencers. Meaning, if you're partnering with someone who's has 500,000 followers, you may get more engagements with someone who has 25,000 followers. Much smaller audience, but here are some things you want to look for: engagement, and comments and likes and shares and retweets and things like that. Does someone just have 500,000 followers, but they get 100 likes on Instagram and no comments? Or do they have 25,000 and they get 1,000 likes and they get 100 comments? So you want to find the influencers and people who are really engaging. Then you know they have a true audience who is truly going to follow them and truly click the link and read all about you as well. So an example I have of numbers kind of being misleading is there's a lot of spam accounts, a lot of fake accounts on social media that people can buy up, and it's not true engagement, it's not true people, it's just fake, faceless accounts. And it's not many people's fault. Sometimes these accounts just start following, following, following. But an example I have here is Instagram a few years ago decided to do a cull of all these spam accounts. So though they went through and people noticed their following dwindled, and it went down, well, not dwindled, it went down drastically overnight because Instagram did this cull. So an example here is from Taco Bell. They celebrated 500,000 followers on Instagram. And then a few days later, they highlighted this and said, at Instagram, well, this is awkward because they went down to 465. It was spam accounts that they had that have been killed off due to the call. And they just made light of it, and it was all fun. But they posted this on Twitter. Well, this is awkward. We can't celebrate 500K just yet. So a few more types of engagements, influencer partnerships. You can have guestgrammers too. So I mentioned having influencers out to your event and promoting your event. You can also have them take over your account. Have them take over your account. They'll promote it on their account, and then you get their expertise and their professional curating abilities over on your accounts too. And this is also, this example here from Fairmont JPL is also an example of a contest that you can run on social media too. So speaking of contests, you can use Facebook apps and add-ons to run contests, sweepstakes directly from your Facebook profile. And you can also run contests just directly with blog partners, with Twitter partners, retweet to enter to win, or through Facebook, through Instagram as well. You can have people regram or share or leave a comment with a friend that they would love to attend an event with or love to share the prize pack with. There's lots of options for contests on social media. Another example, contests for pages. A few services that help you run contests, so they can help you put in policies, they can help you set up your rules and regulations, and they can even draw your winners for you. There's Gleam Contesting and Rafflecopter. And for some, it's free to start or free up to a certain amount, and then it's paid after a certain amount of entries or after a certain amount of uses. But there's lots of apps you can get to help with contests, which is very helpful because you can take the stress out of picking a winner or putting your policy up there. It's all built in right for you. So I mentioned this in the 101 talk as well, using tracking links. And this is really important when you're working with influencers too, because you want to be able to track and see how far something went, whether it's a plain advertisement, an ad image on their site, or if it's a link you're asking them to share on Facebook or a link you're asking them to share on Twitter. You can then see, you can supply them this link, or you can ask them if they have their own tracking service and they can supply it for you. You can see how far something went. So if you got 500 clicks on something, where those clicks came from, and what was the link that they used, and when did it happen. So using shortened links, that's the main reason why I use them is for tracking, but they're also good too because they're short. So they'll fit on Twitter for your 140 character limit, or it takes a big link that might get cut off in an email and makes it nice and friendly and portable. So on analytics.twitter.com, I never thought I would open up an Excel spreadsheet ever again once I quit my day job and started doing blogging full time. But now here's an Excel spreadsheet I absolutely love. It is analytics.twitter.com. You can look, it will give you a nice web version of your tweets and things that you've posted on Twitter. But then you can also select date ranges and export the data and look at them in an Excel spreadsheet. And so this is what I do when I'm calculating, if I'm working with a partner for a contest or with a sponsored post. I download my Excel spreadsheet, I highlight the days we were mentioned by doing a search, and I can tell them immediately how many impressions something got, how many engagements, retweets, replies, likes, all this kind of wonderful bits of analytical information that you might like if you're tracking a campaign. So this is one of my favorite things, and it's just the downloadable Excel spreadsheet you can get from Twitter Analytics. So I have a few case studies before I wrap things up here in our 201 social content strategy session for social media. First example is Bob's Red Mill. So I actually got to go to Bob's. I was on a influencer trip with Oregon's Mount Hood territory. And on the way, after we left Portland, my husband and I stopped at Bob's Red Mill for some breakfast. But they're actually a case study example on Hootsuite's blog. So Hootsuite, I mentioned them earlier, they have great examples of case studies in various different industries about how these brands have used social media to reach their goals and reach their targets. So I have a little tweet here from my time at Bob's Red Mill, but here's who they are. They offer a wide variety of more than 400 whole grain products, and they produce the widest selection of natural, certified, organic, and gluten-free flours, cereals, and mixes. So you can find them in Milwaukee, Oregon in store, or you can find them for online sales, and I've actually also seen them at the local grocery stores too. So what did they want to do? What were their goals and what did they do? So through social media, through specifically Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, they increased customer satisfaction, they increased brand sentiment and awareness. They were able to have faster customer service response rates by responding to people on Twitter and Facebook. And I have an example of that. And they were to come up with more compelling marketing campaigns. So they did this, they had a three-pronged approach, 3 different networks, and they shared 3 different types of content on each network. This is kind of a good idea too, because I mentioned visuals on Twitter, visuals on Instagram, Facebook. Maybe you want to have polls, visuals, links, ads, a whole bunch of different content. But here's what Bob's Red Mill did. They wanted to build online community with customer success stories, images of seasonal local produce, and connect one-on-one. That was their goal for Facebook, and that's how many followers they have now. On Twitter, they exclusively retweet and share recipes shared by their customers who have used their product. So they do that on Twitter exclusively. And then on Instagram, they share Bob's own recipes. So that's how they've decided to break it up. You can do this too. You can keep different silos. You can keep different content for different networks. But this is how they decided to do it. So an example of Bob's Red Mill on Twitter, they shared someone else's recipe using their product. So they said, the holidays are right around the corner. If you're out of gift ideas, you can always gift with food. And they shared someone else's post, vegan date bread with pecans, perfect for the holidays, at Bob's Red Mill. So they let them know they were using their product. Hashtag Bob's Holiday Cheer. Hashtag vegan, hashtag gluten-free, hashtag vegan holiday. And so Bob shared it, and then the original poster commented and said, thanks for sharing. So this is a great example of social media, sharing from other people who are using your product and just letting them know you appreciate that they've used your product. So if you're in tourism industry, let people know you appreciate they've stopped by. If they've taken a photo and posted it, engage with them online, definitely. So another example of how they've separated what they post. So Twitter is other recipes. On Instagram, it's their own recipe for their bundt cake here. And then you can see on Facebook, start your day the smoothie matchmaker way with this treat that's sweet. So another kind of recipe and video that they posted on Facebook. So 3 different networks, 3 different types of content they're sharing. That's Bob's Red Mill. Now flip back over. This is my final case study. So this is a lavender farm just outside of Toronto. What they wanted to do specifically with social media was increase brand awareness for their unique destination by showcasing breathtaking photos of the farm to attract people to their Facebook page and in turn visit their farm. So they're located outside of Toronto, and they wanted to get people from Toronto to come to their lavender farm. So how would they do that? So for its most recent campaign, the farm used Facebook's core targeting to narrow in on the precise audience it wanted to reach. So this is the targeting I was talking about. They specifically on Facebook through an ad purchase targeted females 30 to 65 within 50 miles of their farm and with interests in food, drink, gardening, outdoors, yoga, photography, crafts, and flowers. Now their lavender farm, you might not think yoga has anything to do with the lavender farm, but chances are someone who does yoga is also interested in everything to do with lavender. It could be the scents, essential oils, it could be the art, could be the photography, it could be the crafts, could be the food. They decided it's also calming. Yoga's calming, yes, but lavender is also very calming. So even things you think might not be a real fit actually really can be a fit. So the lavender farm targeted people who like gardening, outdoors, yoga, photography, because photography, people will come, they'll take photos and they'll share it with their networks. So that was pretty brilliant to include that too. They also shared events, so Christmas pop-up store. And look at this beautiful photo of a lavender ice cream cone in the lavender fields. So that was their plan of attack on Facebook. And here's some of the results. So they found a 2-time increase in visits year over year, 3-time increase in sales year over year, 4-time increase in customer order value, So timing is everything. So they timed the release of ads and boosts on certain days at certain times, like long before a long weekend, to have the most impact. You're in Toronto, you want to unwind, you want to get out into the country. Hey, look, there's an ad for this lavender farm. I can have delicious ice cream. I can take beautiful photos. I can wander. I can get recipes. I can I can learn about gardening, cultivating lavender. Yes, I'm going to look at that. And they timed it right before a long weekend where people sitting in their offices are probably craving something like that. So using specific targeting and timing was the key to their success. So here are some action items. Join the Canada chat. If you are watching this before April 19th, actually April 19th is the day, join hashtag Canada chat on the Explore Canada Twitter, or follow Explore Canada, that's Destination Canada, to find out when there will be more Canada chats you can jump into. Schedule your posts with photos strategically. So use Hootsuite or use another scheduling program. Schedule them and make sure they include photos. And remember to find the best times to schedule a post by looking at your analytics. Post more content, the more frequent, the better. I put frequently. The more frequent, the better. Measure your audience and engagement for the last 2 weeks. So right now you can go and look on your profiles, on your analytics.twitter.com, on your Facebook Insights, on your Instagram Insights. Look at them right now and see if coming up for this coming week, if you need to make any changes. Try boosting a Facebook post if you have some budget to a specific targeted audience. Start working with targeted audiences and see what gets picked up for you. You can partner with an influencer for a giveaway or for a visit. Start looking into that as well. Find at least one influencer that you're interested in working with. And if you can't find any more, ask them, because influencers know influencers too. So they may have more people to recommend. I know people in Vancouver, but I know other people across the country, Calgary, Edmonton, the Okanagan. Anyone, you can ask me for a reference too if you like. And then rinse and repeat. Repeat what audiences reacted to. By looking at your analytics, you can tell that. Repeat that repeat what got engagement, repeat what you enjoyed posting as well. So those are my tips. That's Social Media Strategy 201. Thank you for tuning in and for following Seekers Media. You can go seekersmedia.com/workshops to find more. And I'm Rebecca at miss604.com.